I've burned all of my bridges to make money in the traditional way, offline, not through the internet, face to face, with a service-based business. Coaching and weight loss has been a large proportion of what I was doing. And I'm at a place now where I want to move everything online and systematize what I'm doing so that it's scalable. Okay, I've set a goal of earning £1,000 a month. It's quite a low bar, and as long as the model is scalable and systematized, if I can hit 1,000 a month consistently every month, profit, not revenue, then I can take it to 2. If I can hit 2, I can take it to 4. And that's what this channel's really been about, my metamorphosis. So when I started out on this journey, I thought, well, I'll read these business books and I'll learn these strategies and I will be fine. I had heard a lot before that about the importance of mindset. And I had seen a lot of guys who I respect greatly who've made a lot of money online recommend these books, and I thought, how can that help you in business? I need to learn about marketing strategies and selling strategies and so forth. Well, I didn't realize that when you start a small company, you are the CEO. And if you have any, let's say, demons, not literal, but any demons inside of you, any flaws in your character, any shortcomings, when you start a business, they are going to find you out. You're going to face a mirror. The business is like a mirror, and all of your shortcomings are very much magnified, especially if you tend to be a perfectionist, and especially if you have a fixed mindset. And that's my next point, the importance of growth mindset. 2 days ago, I was very, very fortunate, blessed to be on a call with a guy called John Berardi. I was one of 7 in a small group mentoring situation, and each of us he was very generous. He gave us 20 to 30 minutes each individually to answer our questions. Who is John Berardi? He started a company called Precision Nutrition. He was working down in Miami as a personal trainer. He saw that there was a major gap in the market to help people make long-term change. And that's what my company, my service offering is a bit different than that, but has some similarities. He started this company effectively by himself, and for various different reasons, his heart was in it. He had a passion for it. He said he had a curious mind. But one of the things he said that he had was a growth mindset. He was willing to take risks, fall flat on his face, and not see it as a failure, a reflection on his character, but see it as an opportunity to learn. And here's the thing. What I just told you is so cliche. You've probably heard that 101 times on YouTube motivation channels. But it's not until you're in my situation, and maybe you've been there and done it, if you're watching this, not until you start a small company and you have to, if you're a personal brand, show your face to the world and everything you're offering, and effectively put yourself up in the spotlight to maybe get shot down. Okay, now if that's your mindset, and you can hear with my language, I saw that as an opportunity to be shot down, something scary maybe, you're going to struggle. That's a symptom of a fixed mindset. John Berardi, on the other hand, said he just put stuff out there, and if it fell flat on its face, yes, he might be a bit disappointed, but he would treat that as valuable data, and he would pivot or persevere. If you've read The Lean Startup, you know what I'm talking about. But when you start a small company, it is crucial to have a growth mindset. And as I'm out here in Turkey, I'm just reflecting on the last 6 months, moving toward this target of £1,000 a month, very modest target every month. And I realized that I have all the knowledge. I've done a master's degree in sports nutrition. I've worked with national and international level athletes. I've done qualifications in neuro-linguistic programming, loads and loads of courses I've invested in. And I don't say that to impress you, but as Les Brown says, to impress upon you that because of these limiting beliefs, these doubts I had about myself, this fixed mindset, it didn't matter how many qualifications I had, how many courses I kept doing. I had a limitation inside of my own mind. And one day I want to help people who want to work for themselves, but to be frank, there's something missing. They don't need another qualification. It's a limiting belief. They cannot bring themselves to put themselves out there. The handbrake is on and they're trying to drive the car, and there's a smoke coming out of the back wheels, and something's wrong. And the harder they try, the more frustrated they get, the more belief, the more they build this belief that they just cannot be successful. Well, that's untrue. You can be successful, I can be successful, but this limiting mindset, having fixed beliefs, a fixed mindset, as Carol Dweck calls it in her excellent book Mindset, which I recommend everybody read if you don't have a growth mindset. You can transform your fixed mindset to a growth mindset. And so as I'm here in Turkey, I'm just reflecting on everything that's gone on the last 6 months. And there are a few patterns I noticed after speaking to John Berardi 2 days ago. It really stood out to me. One, you've got to have a growth mindset. And reading the book might not be enough. If this has been ingrained in you from a young age, a fixed mindset tendency, you might need to really put post-it notes, do whatever you need to do to not just get awareness of your fixed mindset, but, I don't know, put affirmations, statements. Instead of thinking this, I will think this, and stick it on your bathroom mirror. You've got to do work to overcome that. Give yourself grace as you're learning a growth mindset. That's another fixed mindset trait, is I'm going to develop a growth mindset in 1 week flat. Well, if you've had a fixed mindset for 10, 20 years, it might take more than a week. Okay, so give yourself grace, and it'll be a process, sometimes 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So that's one thing that really struck me as I reflect back on the last few months of moving toward this target of £1,000 a month with a scalable model every month, only online. This is not offline earnings. This is just an online scalable business. So that's number one, the importance of a growth mindset. Cliche, but it's just hit me at a deeper level. Number two, Christmas Eve, I tried to run a marathon. An influencer put out this challenge, and boy, did it teach me a lot. With 11 days preparation, from a place where I was not very physically fit, I was doing the bare minimum to try and run a full marathon on Christmas Eve with no support team, carrying my own pack. Wow. One of the lessons I learned in that endeavor, I'm not going to say what happened, but it was a learning experience, let's say that much, was the importance of chunking things down. I had landmarks, effectively 9 landmarks on that route for me to hit, and it made a huge difference. The point is this: you've got to chunk your goals down. Another cliche. Figure out what it is you want, get absolutely clear on who you are. John Berardi spoke about this, who you are, what your strengths are, and then what you want. And then you have got to, the thing is we set a goal, and we want to dive in and just start working, be busy, busy, busy. That's lazy. I'm speaking to myself here, but maybe some of you can resonate with this too. You've got to set a goal, chunk it down, make sure they are the correct steps. A coach could really help with that. Like when people try and get into great shape, they put a lot of effort in. I see them doing it, but they're into the wrong things. They're doing step 6 at step 1. There's a sequence. You have a sequencing problem, and so it is with a goal. You've got to break it down, make sure the right steps in the right order, and then each of those steps are broken down into micro steps. So you might have a goal that takes you 3 days, 3 weeks, and those micro steps, which might be a 20-minute work block, a Pomodoro, or a 1-hour work block, you have got to celebrate. And this is something I've really struggled with. I've taken steps toward the first goal, and then my brain automatically says, well, you haven't done the whole goal yet, all 10 steps, so you failed. And so every time you put work in, you have this negative feedback. I've just realized I'm not going to make my trademark 10 minutes, which I normally try and hit, but I'm going to try and wrap this all up. I'm here in Bodrum. I've been reflecting. I'm very, very fortunate to be here in Turkey. And I've just been thinking. It's really allowed me the space, the headspace to look back and consider how brutal I was being to myself. Yes, you've got to be honest with yourself. Yes, are you really putting the work in? Yes, that's key. Will you have bad days though, where you just cannot focus? Maybe. Give yourself grace and figure out why that's happening. These are in 60 seconds, my 5 big takeaways from the last few months, and rounding it off with this few days away from the UK. These are my 5 big takeaways. A growth mindset is absolutely key. It is fine to fail if you can take the learnings and go again. And John Berardi said, who sold his company for 200 million, he's done really well, as quick as possible. He said, imagine yourself in those Hollywood movies. Sometimes you've got to walk away from something, it hasn't worked, with the learnings, and it's like a big explosion going off in the background. Just walk away. You are the hero if you walk away with learnings and you go to the next project. Okay, there might be a need to do that. There may also be a need to persevere and even go back and piece it together. I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. It's okay to fail as long as you learn. Number 1, growth mindset, growth mindset, growth mindset. Number 2, you've got to break your goals down. And I'm going to put this video out in the next few days about this marathon that I attempted with 11 days training, and talk about what happened toward the end in this situation. But what got me at least that far was chunking. I had landmarks, milestones, cliche, but easy to forget. And I'm very guilty of this. I'll just think, okay, I've got this thing, it's going to take me about 2 weeks, go. Well, no, you've got to break it down to goalstones by the day, or even by work block, as I said earlier. Break your goals down, celebrate each step. And if that voice comes and says, okay, well, you've done 2 days work on this 2-week goal, 2 days and you're still not there yet, so you failed. No, it's a 2-week goal. It's going to take 14 days. So growth mindset, break your goals down, celebrate each step as you go. And that's all I have, I think. So I want to keep this relatively short. I hope everybody's well. I'm just trying to think if anybody might be watching this and think that guy sat there in Bodrum, it's very easy for him to say X, Y, and Z. If I couldn't afford this, I used to go out to my parents' place. They have a place in the countryside, they live in the countryside in England, and even sometimes going back and being around your family is not that easy, but even just going back for an afternoon and just walking in the woods, it's in the Chiltern Hills, very fortunate. Get out to the countryside for an afternoon. Go and stay on a quiet, for me, I love the peace and quiet, on a camping site for 2 nights. I know that may sound awful, but to be honest, if it just gets you out of the city and out of your space and to give your mind space, that's what I would have done. That's what I did do at university when I had a very, very tight budget, let's say that much. Was me and a couple of friends, we took a few tents up to Settle, it's called, in Yorkshire, and yeah, it did wonders for my mind. Like, a lot of the lessons that you don't have time to pause and benefit from come to you when you stop and slow down. And then when you come back to your work, everything just you're more efficient, it's easier. If you're not able to do that, go for a walk in the woods. Turn your phone off, and that's the last lesson. I've not been watching much YouTube at all, and I realized, I didn't know there was a whole army of people on YouTube talking about how they were so addicted to YouTube and they've detoxed from it. Less content is better. Do not touch your phone, or this is for me what works. Do not touch your phone first hour of the day, last hour of the day. Do not have your phone plugged into your bedroom. Get it out of your bedroom. As soon as you wake up, that's your time. Relax. Put some classical music on. I do mindfulness. I use the Headspace app, but I do not open WhatsApp, email, or definitely not any social media. at least the first hour of the day. And if I can take it to lunchtime, I feel great. Out here, I'm very fortunate. I've not been opening any YouTube or watching any of that till 5 p.m. I've just had the whole day free, and I can honestly say, I think, of course, the environment helps, but it's really affected my mind. So I'll give you a little look. That's just a view of the water out there. Very, very special. So yeah, I hope everybody's well. Yeah, they're my 5 lessons. Growth mindset, break the goal down, celebrate each small step, stay away from your phone first and last hour of the day, and you've got to believe in yourself when you start a small business. You've got to believe. I was raised thinking that humility was about putting yourself down and hating on yourself. That's so wrong. It's so wrong. You've got to believe in yourself. We all have something of value to bring, or we can learn and make ourselves valuable. I truly believe that, whether it's social skills or learning to sell or learning a skill that's valuable to people. You've got to believe in yourself. I'm a big boxing fan. I just listened to a little bit of Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Both of them, Tyson Fury said, when he was 20 years old when he started, I just believed I would become world champion. Usyk spoke about seeing himself in the stadium fighting for the world title when he was a child. You've got to see it for yourself. Even when it looks bleak and you have some really bad days, figure out why that is. It could be a toxic environment, toxic relationships. Love yourself in a healthy way, not in an arrogant, egotistical way. Care for yourself. Treat yourself, as Jordan Peterson says, as if you're someone worth looking after. Cut those people off in a nice way. Try to find some good, healthy friends. Give yourself space. Give yourself grace. I'm not any self-help guru. I'm just sharing. I was doing the opposite to all of this, and I still struggle with some of this from time to time. So I'm just sharing my lessons. I'm definitely no guru. Maybe you can learn something from my mistakes. I watch people, small YouTubers, all the time, and I learn from them. It's really, really helpful. So yeah, take care, guys. God bless. Hope everybody's well. Look after yourself. Give yourself some time in the woods to unwind and detox. And yeah, looking forward to the summer.